The ability to track stand will mean that you've got more balance and therefore more control over your bike. You won't be clipping in and out as much at junctions, and you can also then show off to your mates. Coming up, we show you exactly how to do a track stand, as well as some advanced techniques, including, if I can do it, no-handed. First up, let's recommend a location. Unlike me, you don't want to choose asphalt or tarmac, but instead something slightly softer, just in case you do lose your balance. You also want to find a very slight incline. More on the reasons behind that a little bit later on. And in terms of equipment, you want to possibly swap out your clipless pedals for some flat pedals. That way, at least you'll be able to put your foot down quickly if things do go wrong. Once you've chosen your location, ride slowly towards it and then point your front wheel one side or the other, but pointing up the gradient. Now the gradient is important because it's going to give you some resistance. So when you push on the pedals, you'll move up, and when you let go, you'll go gradually back down. So you can get that rocking motion, which gives you your balance. And this eventually should mean that you can stay reasonably still and on the spot. Now, some people say that you should look in front of you at a point to give you a balance. I find it slightly easier to look slightly in front of the front wheel. Now, as you can see, I personally favour aiming my front wheel to the left and having my left foot forward, but you might find that the opposite is true for you. So just experiment and see what you feel most comfortable with. I personally find it easiest being out of the saddle with my legs slightly bent, arms reasonably straight but not completely locked out, and quite a relaxed grip with a finger or two hovering over the front brake. However, if you want to go to the next step and go no-handed, which is what we're going to do next, you're going to need to learn how to do this sat down. Now, the technique of track standing in the saddle versus out the saddle is almost identical. It's just ever so slightly harder, I find personally, to keep your balance. But keep that front wheel against the gradient and roll it forwards and backwards. And from there, once you're confident in the saddle, it's simply a case of gradually loosening your grip on the hoods or the bars until eventually you are confident enough to take it off just for a few seconds at a time. That way you will get used to rolling the wheel forwards and backwards with a very loose grip or no grip at all, until eventually you're going no-handed. Now, the other alternative is to just take one hand off at a time, controlling it with the other one, then lifting that one off. Then, the ultimate and the hardest track stand to do, in my book at least, is the out of the saddle no-hander. You want to rest the top tube against the inside of your thigh, just above the knee, to give you a bit of stability. Again, on the same gradient. This, as you can see, is very difficult indeed. Oh, I'm just holding it. I'm sure there's loads of you out there who can do this better than me. That's all I've got. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, I haven't got many junctions near my house where there's a gradient for me to push my wheel against, and that is where this next advanced technique comes into play. So I'm now facing in the other direction on a downhill gradient, and what I'm doing is rolling forward, putting my brake on, moving my body weight slightly back, and that's enough to roll the wheel then backwards. And again, this then allows you to balance, and as you get more used to it, you should be able to do that less and less until eventually, even on flat or slightly downhill ground, you're keeping quite still. And there's really not much more to it than that. As ever, practice will hopefully make perfect, but if you're having any specific problems, let us know in the comments section down below, and either we or one of our very helpful and knowledgeable viewers should be able to help you out. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up down below. If you'd like to subscribe to the Global Cycling Network, just click on the globe. And if you really want to show off, we've got how to wheelie and how to bunny hop down here and down here respectively.